Reversing 20 years of sun damage. You're looking in the mirror and you don't recognize the person looking back. Not because she's aged, because you suddenly see it. The fine lines around your eyes that weren't there 5 years ago. The uneven tone on your cheekbones that foundation stopped covering last year. The texture on your forehead that catches the light in a way that makes you feel exposed. And you know exactly when it started, but you're only just now admitting it. 20 years of sun damage doesn't announce itself. It whispers. It accumulates in layers you can't feel happening, in the DNA of your skin cells as they're being written, in the collagen bundles that are quietly fraying beneath the surface where no amount of moisturizer can reach. You weren't careless. You weren't ignorant. You were young, and the sun felt like freedom. And you had no idea that every single afternoon at the beach, every commute with the window down, every forgetting to reapply, that all of it was a debt you'd eventually have to pay with interest. But here's what most people don't tell you. Reversing 20 years of sun damage isn't about starting over. It's about working with what's already been written into your skin and rewriting the story going forward. The science is counterintuitive, and it starts with understanding what the sun actually does. When UV rays hit your skin, they don't just burn the surface, they penetrate into the dermis, the thick layer beneath the epidermis where your collagen lives. UVA rays, the ones that don't turn you red immediately, trigger something called photoaging. They destabilize the proteins that hold your skin structure together. They create free radicals, unstable molecules that damage healthy cells. Over 20 years, this isn't damage, this is erosion. This is your skin's architecture slowly collapsing in on itself. The collagen fibers that were organized and tight at 20, by 40, they've cross-linked into tangled, irregular formations. Your skin can't bounce back the way it used to. The elastin, the protein that gives skin its snap, has fractured. And perhaps most visibly, melanin production has gone haywire. Some areas produce too much pigment too fast, creating age spots. Other areas lost pigment entirely. The result is an uneven canvas that no highlighter can fix. You probably already know this happens. What you might not know is that the damage isn't finished accumulating. This is the part that changes everything. Even now, even if you're religious about sunscreen, the UV exposure you received 20 years ago is still affecting your skin at the cellular level. There's something called delayed photoaging. Your skin is literally still aging from sun exposure you got in your 20s. The inflammation is chronic. It's silent. It's ongoing. So when you start reversing sun damage, you're not fighting a static enemy. You're fighting a process that's still in motion. The first layer of reversal is prevention, and I know that sounds too simple, but it's not what you think. Most women over 40 are using the wrong SPF strategy entirely. They apply sunscreen once in the morning and think they're protected. Here's what actually happens. Your SPF 30 or SPF 50 degrades throughout the day. Sweat breaks it down, your skin's natural oils oxidize it, you touch your face, you lean your face against your phone. By 11 a.m., you've lost 40% of your protection. By lunch, you're operating at maybe 60% of your original SPF. By evening, you're basically unprotected and you've been in the sun all day. The women whose sun damage stops accelerating are the ones doing something that sounds obsessive but isn't. They're reapplying every 2 hours, not sometimes, every time. Or they're using a different strategy altogether. They're using mineral sunscreen with zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, physical blockers that sit on top of your skin and don't degrade the way chemical sunscreens do. They're wearing SPF in their moisturizer and their foundation and their lip balm. They're treating sun protection like medication, not like skincare. But you didn't do that for 20 years. None of us did. So the reversal, the actual reversal, has to happen at the cellular level. This is where retinoids enter the conversation, and you've probably heard about them, but what you might not understand is why they actually work on sun damage specifically. Retinoids, retinol, retinaldehyde, prescription retinoids like tretinoin, work by binding to receptors in your skin cells and essentially telling those cells to behave younger. They accelerate cell turnover. They stimulate collagen production. They increase cell proliferation in the dermis. But here's the part that matters. Retinoids also repair something called UV-induced P53 mutations. Your P53 gene is a tumor suppressor. It's basically your cell's quality control manager. When UV damage happens, P53 gets mutated. Those mutated cells start behaving erratically. They produce irregular melanin. They don't communicate properly with neighboring cells. This is why sun-damaged skin looks chaotic. Retinoids don't reverse the UV exposure itself, but they can help your skin cells recover from the genetic instructions that UV damage created. But, and this is crucial, retinoids take time. 3 to 6 months before you see real texture improvement, 6 to 12 months before collagen remodeling becomes visible. You can't rush this. And if you start too strong, your skin will rebel. You'll get irritation, peeling, sensitivity, and you'll quit before the retinoid actually starts working. The women who successfully reverse 20 years of sun damage are the ones who start low, retinol 0.3% or 0.5%, and go slow. They use it twice a week for the first month. They layer it with a heavy moisturizer. They accept that their skin will purge and peel and look worse before it looks better. This phase is often called retinization, and it's when your skin is adjusting to the retinoid. It feels like failure. It's actually progress. While the retinoid is working on collagen remodeling, you need to address the pigmentation. Sun damage creates 2 types of pigmentation problems: solar lentigines, those brown spots, and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which is when your skin overproduces melanin in response to any irritation. This is why sun-damaged skin looks blotchy. Your melanocytes have literally lost their ability to distribute pigment evenly. Vitamin C serums help with this, but not because vitamin C is magic. It's because L-ascorbic acid is a mild depigmenting agent. It inhibits tyrosinase, the enzyme that creates melanin. Used consistently, a good vitamin C serum, and this matters, it has to be stabilized L-ascorbic acid, not a derivative, and it has to be at the right pH, can lighten age spots over 4 to 6 months. But it also protects against future UV damage by neutralizing free radicals. There's a motif here, and it's worth noticing. Everything that reverses sun damage requires patience. Everything requires consistency. There are no quick fixes. The shortcuts, the laser treatments, the chemical peels, they work faster, but they're not reversals. They're damage control. A laser can remove the top layers of damaged skin and stimulate collagen beneath, but it doesn't address the root cause, which is that your cells are still predisposed to damage. A chemical peel burns away the damaged layer, which is why you see dramatic immediate results, but the skin cells underneath are still vulnerable. You're buying time, not reversal, and this is where most people's story ends. They do the treatments, they see results, they feel hopeful, and then 6 months later, they're back where they started, or worse. The real reversal happens when you shift from thinking about sun damage as something that happened to you to understanding that photoaging is a process your own body participates in. Every time you go in the sun without protection now, you're compounding the original damage. Every time you're in the sun without antioxidant protection, you're creating new free radicals on top of old cellular damage. Your skin isn't just trying to recover from what happened 20 years ago, it's trying to survive what's happening today while simultaneously repairing the past. So the actual reversal protocol looks like this: sunscreen every single day, reapplied every 2 hours if you're going outside, a retinoid at night, starting low and building up, a vitamin C serum in the morning, a moisturizer with ceramides and peptides to support your skin barrier while all this cellular turnover is happening. And patience. Actual patience measured in seasons, not weeks. But here's the floor dropping. This is also when you have to make a choice that nobody talks about. Reversing 20 years of sun damage costs money. A good retinoid, a stabilized vitamin C serum, a mineral sunscreen that doesn't feel like death on your face, a heavy moisturizer. This isn't budget skincare. This is $15 to $30 a month, minimum. For most women, this is the cost of a coffee and a pastry per week. For some women, it's impossible. The damage you got from being young and poor and not knowing better is a damage that requires money to fix. The sun doesn't discriminate. Your bank account might, and even if you can afford it, there's another cost. Reversal requires you to accept yourself differently in the meantime. Retinoids make your skin look worse before it looks better. Vitamin C serums can cause irritation. You might spend 3 months of peeling, flaking, sensitivity before you see improvement. During those 3 months, you might look worse than you did before you started. You're essentially choosing temporary damage in exchange for long-term repair. This is the trap. You know the damage is there. You know it can be reversed, but you have to decide whether you're willing to look worse for 6 months to look better in a year, whether the cost is worth the gain, whether you're doing this for yourself or because you've internalized the message that sun damage is something you should be ashamed of, something that needs fixing. The women who successfully reverse photoaging aren't the ones who do it because they hate their sun damage. They're the ones who do it because they've decided they're worth the investment, not in the outcome, but in the process. Your skin is still writing its story. You get to decide what happens next.